This is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com with another episode of Fast Action Fridays. Today, I have a repeat guest that is my joy to bring back anytime she wants to. It's Sherri-Lee Woycik, who is a Facebook ads expert. Last time she was on, we talked about growing, attracting clients to your Facebook page. And that was wonderful. This time we're up in the game a little bit by diving into Facebook ads, something that I'm on the verge of doing myself, and I have held off doing it. So I'm glad SherriLees here to help us with that. Sherri-Lee, tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on again, Kat. I always love coming and chatting with you. It's kind of like visiting with an old friend, which is always fabulous. And the reason why we connected, I believe, is because of Facebook. So right there is one of the reasons why I love Facebook so much. So I'm happy to be celebrating 10 years in business this year. And when I started my business, I never thought 10 months ahead, let alone 10 years ahead. So that's quite the achievement for me this year. And everything I do is around Facebook. I want to see entrepreneurs learn how to use Facebook so that they can reach more people. There's 3 billion people on Facebook, and there's tons of them out there for whatever you do. And that's my mission, is to just see entrepreneurs get connected with the right people for them in their business, whether it's through their Facebook page, their Facebook groups, or using Facebook ads so that they can grow the business of their dreams. That's really a big thing about me. I'm a single mom. We were just talking, I love The Walking Dead. So if there's any Walking Dead fans out there, I'm with you. And, life has really just changed dramatically since Facebook came into my life, for sure.
You and I think similarly about Facebook. I have a lot of friends that, they are up in arms about Facebook. And I have to remind them, you're using this platform for free. And it's one thing to object to certain things that Facebook puts in place, but you are there. The people we're talking about are there to make money. And you're doing that for free, unless you're buying ad space and things like that. And you're letting other things get in the way of you enjoying Facebook for what it is. I don't get bothered by those other things that people complain about on Facebook because I set my own boundaries. I don't reply or start political posts or overt religious posts, or I can unfollow people or snooze people. I love the snooze feature, especially during the political season, the election season. And I use a news feed eradicator. So when I'm on my regular computer, if I log into Facebook, I have to go someplace deliberate to see anything. I don't see all of the other rolling stuff by. I don't see the ads. I don't see the heated arguments going on. And I don't let other people or issues rent space in my head when I am on Facebook. So I love that you have great advice about taking advantage of our opportunity to use Facebook for our benefit, as well as the benefit for our clients, which is the ultimate goal of business, is to make money so we can, by servicing clients, providing services and products that they need and want. So jump us right into this Facebook ads magic, because we've only got a limited amount of time. So I know you can't give us everything, but
unfortunately,
you are so good at being succinct about fast action tips, things that we need to keep in mind, things that we should do to start us off if we're trying to use Facebook ads and maybe it's not been successful for you, or if you're like me and haven't actually paid for Facebook ads yet.
Well, and Kat, you're right. You and I think of Facebook very similarly. And one thing I'm going to say is, before you jump into Facebook ads, you want to make sure that you're ready for Facebook ads. Because at the end of the day, it is going to cost you money. And if it's not like gambling, but if you don't know what you're doing around setting up Facebook ads, you could cause yourself to make a choice in the process that could cost you the money. So if you don't know what you're doing, it could cost you. And if you don't have the money to lose, it could cost you. So you've got to be in the right place. Plus, you have to be sure that what you're trying to sell on Facebook is something people want to buy. So if you've never sold this thing before, if you've never sold your coaching services, if you've never sold this package or the widget that you're selling, if you've never sold it to anybody, jumping into Facebook ads is probably not the right choice unless you have a massive budget to get started with and you have a ton of market research behind you and you're prepared to have that space of learning that's going to cost money. So the more you know about your product, your service, and the people that you're selling to, the less time it's going to take you to get running with Facebook ads. But there is a learning period where Facebook needs to figure out who to show these ads to. So it's a communication with Facebook. So I always say to people, start with really getting clear on the organic side and really use your Facebook page, not your profile. And then you're creating an asset that will help you run effective Facebook ads. So what a lot of people don't know is when you have your Facebook page and you're managing your Facebook page and you're growing your Facebook page and you're engaging with those people there, you're creating what's called an audience of people that you can now run targeted ads to. And they're going to be so much more responsive to your ads because they know who you are and they have a relationship with you. So having that managed as part of your strategy first so that you have what's called a retargeting audience will definitely cut down on the time that you're going to spend to learn. Go ahead.
See, that's what I love about you. Your honesty. It's just like when I tell someone owning your own business, running your own business, even as a side hustle, is not for everybody. If you're not prepared to understand this, and this, you may want to rethink what this dream is you think you have. And there are a lot of people out there promoting Facebook ads as the be all and end all to be making a ton of money. And that's not the place to start.
Right. They can do that. But listen, everybody that you see, pretty much everybody, I guess I'm going to cover my ass a little bit here. Pretty much everybody that you see who say, I made, X number of dollars on Facebook ads, have gotten a strategy behind it first and have tested their ads and have tested their audiences. So they know what they're selling, they know how to sell it, and they know who they're selling to. So they can streamline their ads. You can't just run an ad to people on Facebook. There's 3 billion people on Facebook. You would spend so much money. So we have to know how to tell Facebook who to show this ad to. And then we have to know how to talk to them in our ad so that they will stop and read the ad, be inspired by the ad, to take action on the ad. And if we are missing that on either of those steps, or we're just going to be wasting our money. So it's so important that we have the foundation in. And listen, I've fallen for a lot of these things where somebody said, hey, I ran an ad this weekend. I made $1 million. Here I am by my Porsche drinking champagne on the beach, and I never have to work again. What they don't tell you is that they spent $950,000 to make that million. Or $900,000 to make that million. And the months that they spent figuring out the wording for the ad, the images for the ad, the targeting for the ad, the warming up audiences with freebies or with lead magnets or with Facebook Lives, and serving and delivering so that those audiences saw their ad and went, I'm buying that. And then they go, well, hey, look at what I did. So There's a whole bunch of stuff in behind that before you get to that point. Not to say that you can't get there. Everybody can get there. But I just want to be 100% transparent that it's not just write some copy, pick an image and throw it up and people will buy always.
It's like any other marketing avenue. marketing
Ooh,
strategy. You have to get the foundations right. Exactly what you said. Who are you trying to reach? Who wants what you've got to offer? It's not just
yes,
need. And there are a lot of
yes,
people that need what you and I offer, but not all of them know they want it. So
yes,
we
exactly.
can't hammer in that point hard enough to say the foundation has to come first, not
Yes.
the dream. And then I'm going to point this out. Not only are there are people out there who have made that $1 million with
Sure.
maybe not so
And more.
much return on investment once expenses are taken out, but there are also people who are claiming to have made big bucks and they're just repeating what they've learned in some other program about what to say in your ads, and they really haven't made much on their own.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there, I mean, anybody can run an ad and have success and then go, look, I can teach you how to do that. And they can teach you the mechanics of how they achieve the success. That doesn't mean you can replicate it,
Mm-hmm.
because it is about relationships. And I always say, master that organic piece first. Then you've got the information to make your ads perform even better. You've got to know that you're targeting the right people. You've got to be using the right words. Like if I said, buy this widget because it will help you be happier, and those weren't the words that your community of buyers were thinking about in their problem, they wouldn't be inspired. It's about us inspiring people to take action, the action that we want them to take, and then making it easy for them to take that action. We don't want to make it hard work. And we have to also remember that the whole point of Facebook ads, the whole way Facebook ads are run, is it's an auction. And so we are bidding for space in people's newsfeed. And if they don't find us interesting, we aren't going to show up in their newsfeed. It's going to cost us more and more and more to show up in their newsfeed. And we're competing against those guys who already have their messaging nailed, who've already proven this product that they're selling. And their bids may be higher than ours, so they show up more frequently in somebody's newsfeed than we do. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not just build it and they will come. There is a lot going on in the background. It doesn't also. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from it. It's not like 6 to 12 months of testing and trialing and spending money without any return. That's not the case either. I mean, I've had ads run and people purchasing within 48 hours, but there is a very planned out strategy from start to finish to guide them through it, because we need to take the role as the leader of the action. We can't leave it up to them. It's not up to Facebook to show it to the right people. It's not up to the people to hunt for us. It's up to us to make sure we show up and we give them what they need.
So the fast action here, because we're talking about doing something that takes emotional time, it takes physical time, it takes technical time to accomplish. The fast action here is making the choice, taking responsibility to do this. That's the fast action, is to understand your responsibility in making that choice, to understand the process. So where do we go from
Mm-hmm.
here? Let's say, okay, I've got a handle, or maybe your next tips about how to actually get this information.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're ready, or if you're ready to explore getting ready for Facebook ads, or if you feel like you are ready for Facebook ads, then you need to educate yourself about how Facebook ads work. Now, a lot of people can go and just go into the ads manager and figure it out and have no problems. But for the majority of the people, you go in and you're overwhelmed by the choices. Things don't make a lot of sense. There isn't a lot of information about what you're doing. And if you make one wrong choice along the path, you will be really ruining your ability to have a result at the end. So for example, there's 11 different types of ads you can create. It's not just make one ad for whatever you want to achieve. There's 11 choices of types of ads depending on what the outcome is. So that's the first step. If you choose the wrong choice, it doesn't matter how great your targeting and your copy and your imagery is, you've already put yourself behind the 8 ball. So if you're committed to doing this, learn how to do it properly for yourself, or hire somebody that can prove to you they know how to do it for you. And you don't have to hire somebody, you can learn how yourself, but I do recommend that you find a program that you can take that will teach you how. Simply because that will cut down on the time and the frustration and the money that you're going to experience as you try to figure it out on your own.
Right. And
it's not impossible to do, but
it is still free to get a Facebook Ads Manager account.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people think there's a cost there, and there's not. You can get into the back end, and I know that's where a lot of your learning is going to come from, but you're going to be an observer first.
Yeah. And Facebook even has programs, courses that they can teach you, right? They've got the Facebook Blueprint, which has courses on all of this. They give you the technical pieces, the steps, which it's a very good foundational program. You still need to make sure you're getting into the strategy right. You still need to make sure that you are writing copy that's going to be interactive, you're targeting the right people, and you're choosing the right image, and that your budget is right for the audience size. And so there's other pieces, but Facebook's got a very good program to get started with Facebook ads and Facebook marketing called Blueprint. And it's free as far as I'm aware too, was when I took it. So I mean, there's good resources there for you. If you were getting started and you weren't sure where to get started, and there was, Bob's your uncle who you've never heard of offering you a paid course, or the Facebook Blueprint course, go with Facebook Blueprint because they aren't charging you, and they are actually there trying to help you use their platform well, because they do make their revenue on Facebook ads, but they don't want you to be unhappy with them. They don't want you to be frustrated and mad and walking away and never running ads again. They want you to be empowered to run ads that help you grow your business so that you will continue to spend ad money with them.
Exactly.
And when you're making money from it, why wouldn't you, right?
Exactly. And I know belonging to your Facebook group is a great place for people to start. Before we get to like your next tip, I really want you to explain about your group a little bit.
Sure. It's the Badass Facebook Marketing Club. And I started this group, I think 5 years ago now. And I wasn't really clear what the heck I was doing with this group at the time, except that I knew that I wanted someplace that was community for entrepreneurs, because I was feeling the loneliness of entrepreneurialism. Mm-hmm. I needed a place to come together with people. And that's where I originally started. Now it's developed and morphed. I think we're at about 4,500 members in there. It's super interactive. And it's really become a place where I provide a lot of free training and resources, support, and I give a lot of people an opportunity to promote themselves, because I think that's always a big piece of it. So it's become a really fun, engaged community that I'm super proud of, that anybody can come in and join. There's a bunch of free resources for you once you come in. And I frequently hold workshops or challenges or one-day trainings. I go live in there every week to really support people on their journey, whether it's through organic or paid ads, of what they're doing around using Facebook to grow their business.
Exactly. And as you pointed out, the Facebook Blueprint gives you the technical steps. Do this, 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 and this, but it doesn't give you that foundation that we talked about earlier to understand who is it you're trying to target and how do you reach them, the wording and that. All right.
Before we jump on, I was just going to say, If anybody has experienced that Facebook sometimes is a little unpredictable, like you could go through a training and then you go to your own Facebook platform and wow, I've just been changed to the new Facebook and nothing looks the same. That's the kind of support that we need. Is what happens when, I wrote my ad, I set it up properly, I followed the blueprint, I used the right type of ad, I set the budget, but I didn't get the result that I wanted. This is where you want that human support and connection with people, where they can say, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Here's some best practices that I've learned that really are going to make a difference. Let's look at the results here. Let's tweak that. And that's that personal interaction. I still have mentors that I go to for my ads. I still hire people with my ads. I know a ton about Facebook ads, but it's always nice to have another set of eyes on it and another perspective, because sometimes we are so deep in our own stuff. It's hard to look at it and go, oh, well, that copy is off. So it's nice to have somebody else just to put another set of eyes into it, another, brain looking into it. And I think that's the piece. The blueprint is a great foundation, but then when you want to really accelerate your growth, you're going to still want to bring in somebody who is going to be able to support you in your goals.
Exactly. And I will tell listeners and viewers here that SherriLees got a fabulous freebie for us, the Facebook ads template. And I will also make sure you have the link to her prior Facebook Fast Action Friday, because I believe the one about attracting clients to your Facebook page, that freebie there is still available. She's very generous with her time and her expertise in her group, as are the other members. They can help. They can be that extra set of eyes, provide feedback. All right, let's get rolling on another fast action tips related to Facebook ads magic.
Oh, I thought you had a question. I'm sitting here waiting for you to ask your question. Okay, so when you're thinking about Facebook ads, I've said that I want you to think about making sure that it's very easy for the viewer, the reader of your ad to take action. So we want to make sure that we have the pieces in place. So do we have, when we're running an ad and we're saying, we want to sell you this thing, what steps do we need people to take? So we want to make sure that we have our landing pages, our sales pages set up, and we want to make sure they're Facebook compliant. Facebook does check those pieces. Wherever we're sending people off of Facebook, Facebook checks it to make sure that it's not going to be some horrible place that they don't want to look like they're endorsing. So making sure you've got all those pieces in place, and then just talking a little bit more about what's in the template that I'm going to be giving you guys. Writing your copy is so important. It is the piece that will inspire people. And we need to make sure that they understand that we understand what they need. We have to build that rapport and connection in a very, very short period of time. So the template reviews two pieces of your ad creative, which is the copy, so the words that you're going to be writing in your post that goes with your ad, and the image that you create or that you have in your ad. And the copy is intended to really build rapport. We want to start with a question in our ads that gets the reader saying yes, so that they have some buy-in, so that they see that we understand what their concern is or what their problem is that they're trying to solve. We also have to be a little bit careful, because Facebook does not want us to write things in the negative, and they do not want us to write anything that makes the reader feel bad about themselves. So there's a little bit of practice learning the way Facebook wants us to do it, as well as getting to the place where people are responding to it. So we want to ask a question like, would you like to know how to run Facebook ads that sell out your programs? Most people who run programs, if I've targeted right, will say yes to that, because that is what they want. So they've said yes, now they're curious to keep reading on. So then I want to really build up the rapport, and I want to share with them that I've had a similar struggle to them and how I solve that problem. That builds your authority. That allows you to be in a position to say, hey, I can help you solve your problem because I've done it myself. There's nothing worse than somebody saying, I'll help you solve your problem, but I've never had that problem. So we're building up some authority here. And then we have to have a very clear call to action that gives them direction. We have to remember that the people on Facebook are A, not there to be sold to in most cases, and B, overwhelmed by the volume of information coming at them. And if we make it vague, about what we want them to do next, they will likely just do nothing. They will scroll on by, and then the money you spent to show up to that person will have been wasted.
Yeah.
So we want to get our copy really nailed, and that takes some practice, that takes some variation. I've got some techniques that I teach people to help them learn what the copy is before they get to the ad spend. So there's a lot you can do organically before you start putting money on it to lessen the amount of time that it takes you to learn what works for your audience. But first, we want to have the right image. We want to have an image that's standing out in the newsfeed, because they're scrolling mindlessly through the newsfeed looking for something to engage with. And if they don't stop because of your image, they will never read your words. So our image has to grab their attention. And probably the biggest tip here is, it's probably not the image you think it is. So you probably think it's an image of you, or an image of the book, or an image of your product, or an image of your service, and it's probably not that. We want it to be what, and in NLP they call it a pattern interrupt, something that will stop people. So it might be a purple elephant. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have anything to do with what you're selling. We need to stop people from scrolling by your ad and make them curious. What's that purple elephant about? Some of the best ads I've seen recently was it a purple? That's not where it came from? It was like a monkey, I think, with a hard hat, and he was yellow. And I went, why? What is? So of course I stopped. What is that about? And then I couldn't tell what that was about from the image. So I had to read the copy. They had the first line to catch me, and if they didn't, I was moving on. So that's the mental processes that most people go through that will make your ads stand out. This can compensate a little bit for your targeting, because if your targeting is a little bit off, you're still getting people curious. Exactly. And that's what we want them to do with our image and our ad copy.
Well, I love the tips and the information and the insight that you bring every time you are a guest on Facts Action Fridays. If you're watching this, be sure to look below the description, either on YouTube if you're here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're over on the blog post on rockingyourpath.com, the information is below where this is displayed there to get SherriLees freebie, which is a Facebook ads template. There is a lot of magic around getting Facebook ads right. And I love that the number one fast action tip is understand what the process is. The magic is there, but it's kind of like the leprechaun's golden pot. It's not just out there for anybody to pick up and run away with. You have to be in the right frame of mind, in the right place, and understand where it is and how to retrieve it to get that return on investment, those gold coins that are waiting for you inside that pot. A little bit of mixed metaphor between magic and leprechauns, but being Irish, leprechauns are a bit of wonderful green magic to me.
Perfect.
Well, thank you again, Sherri-Lee. I highly encourage people to join your Facebook group as well if they are interested, want to decide whether they are ready for spending some money on Facebook ads, or determining that point when they are ready, or if they've already started, what can help them improve their return on investment, that wonderful ROI, because there's no other reason to be running Facebook ads and giving Facebook your money unless you're making more money from it.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Kat. It was fun.
You're most welcome. And this is Kat Sturtz closing another episode of Fast Action Fridays. Remember to join me next week when I have another great guest. Until then, remember to keep rocking your unique path to success. Bye-bye.